Hello, welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. By the time we reach the campus, Sachi's got her head completely in the clouds again. This would be the second time in the last few hours. Considering she's normally alert enough to come running when someone calls her name, this is definitely an unusual state of affairs. So that's it. Although it's actually a little worrisome that she's this transparent. This time she's clearly just gotten herself caught up on the lap pillow concept. Hey, Sachi. Want me to guess what you're thinking about right now?
それは何かの勝負のお誘いでしょうか?
No, nothing like that. I'm just pretty sure I know what's on your mind at the moment. Want to see if I'm on the money.
それが本当だとしたらすごいです。ぜひ当ててみてください。
Alright, I'll get straight to the answer. Sachi, you're currently thinking about trying out the classic lap pillow maneuver, yes? Judging from that goofy little yelp, she genuinely wasn't expecting this answer. Can I take that to mean I'm correct?
はい。何のヒントも出していない状態での大正解に心臓のバクバクが止まりません。
No hints, huh?
以前にもユウくんはエスパーなのではないかと疑ったことがありますが、今回は特にすごいです。
Actually, in this case, I'm pretty sure anyone with a functioning set of ears could have produced the same supernatural insight.
つまり、ユウくんの手にかかれば、私は常に丸裸ということになってしまいます。
Considering how sordid you make this sound, you seem remarkably calm.
そんなことはありません。こう見えて心はドキドキです。
Okay then, why don't we step that love-dubbing up a notch?
ドキドキドキですか?
Can't say exactly how many extra dubs we'll get, but since you're interested, I'm officially proposing we give this slap pillow thing a try. Conveniently enough, there's a setting ideal for the purpose close at hand. I point to one of the benches that dot the courtyard, sitting in the shade of a tall tree.
確かにベンチはありますが。
All these bags ended up being slightly heavier than expected, so it'd be nice to rest my arms a little as well. Of course, my arms aren't even slightly sore, and the dorm's right in front of us, but no need to mention that.
そうですね。あまり無理をさせるのは良くないですし、休憩ということでしたら。
Alright, sounds like the matter's decided. I pull Sachi over to the bench, then settle down in the classic lap pillow pose as previously demonstrated by the couple in town.
本当に膝枕もするのでしょうか?
Yeah, ignorant as I may be about these matters, I do know the basic theory behind the lap pillow. Leave the rest to me. Alright, success. Sachi's face stares up from my lap, frozen with all the meek anxiety of a terrified kitten. Well, what are your impressions now that you're experiencing the real deal?
ゆうくんの膝は硬すぎず、それでいて柔らかすぎず、まさに絶妙の枕加減なのですが、ごく一般的な膝枕というのは、女性の方が男性の頭を膝の上に乗せるものなのではないでしょうか。
Now that you mention it, the man was the one lying down at the bus stop, wasn't he?
なので、この膝枕はどちらかというと、少し特殊な部類に入ると思われます。
I didn't even consider which of us should be the pillow and which the pillowed. Well, if you want to take the opposite role, we can switch.
そうですね。せっかくのお言葉なのですが、それはやめておきます。
You sure about that?
よく考えたら、ゆうくんが枕役をやるというのもこれっきりかもしれないですから。
I see. Yeah, I guess you could look at that way. That way?
はい。
Okay. That's good. She does like it. The moment Sachi offers that brief response, a gentle gust of wind rolls through the shaded courtyard. A lingering breeze, not so strong as to be irritating, but enough to bring a pleasant cool.
風が気持ちいいですね。
That it does.
セミさんも鳴き始めました。
Yeah.
ゆうくんの顔がすぐそばにあります。
If it was behind your eyes, we'd have a problem.
そうですね。
She puts her feelings into words as they come to her. I offer brief, meaningless responses. At some point in this trivial little exchange, a smile spreads across Sachi's face, and I begin to feel the sort of simple tranquility that comes with cradling a purring cat in her lap. Hey Sachi, you enjoy the date today?
はい、とても楽しかったです。
No hesitation?
もちろん即答です。だって実際に楽しかったですから。
Even though we just wandered around by the station?
はい、ゆうくんと一緒にたくさんお店を回れた上に可愛い服まで買っていただきました。
Well, I'm glad you had fun, but you really are easy to please, aren't you? No, that is girlfriend material right
実
there,
際のと
dude.
ころはそうでもないかもしれませんよ。
Oh, elaborate.
だって今はこうして彼氏さんに枕役をやらせているんですから。
So you are. True enough, if someone saw this little scene out of context, they'd probably get the impression that Sachi's wearing the pants in this relationship. Well, since you've had that rare opportunity handed to you, how about you relax and savor it for a while?
はい、ありがとうございます。
As she speaks, Sachi lets the tension drain out of her body, and I feel a little more weight settle in my lap. It feels almost like the physical manifestation of her absolute trust. I've shouldered many burdens on the job, but none were quite this relaxing to bear. If you feel like it, you can go ahead and take a nap.
それはとても魅力的な提案なのですが、ドキドキして眠れそうにありません。
I wouldn't really know how to react to that. In that case, just close your eyes and take it easy. Apparently that alone's about 80% as effective as actual sleep.
そんなことまで知ってるなんて、ゆうくんは本当にすごいです。
Well, I'm sure I've told you this before. The people who really deserve praise are the scientists who ran the studies, not the guy who read about them in some book.
それでもその内容を覚えていたのはユウくんです。
You really aren't going to budge on this, are you?
はい、どうしてもそうなります。
And she seems to be very pleased about it for some reason. This habit of overestimating me to the point of veneration is one part of Sachi that doesn't seem to be changing. Walking down the streets chatting with their romantic interest, going shopping together, brushing against their warmth. And ultimately offering them your lap as a pillow, putting aside for the moment whether it's supposed to be the other way around. I remember seeing this sort of innocent flirting between couples in manga and television shows as a kid. But I hadn't imagined the day might come when I'd actually be experiencing something of the sort. And in fact, I almost certainly never would have if it wasn't for Sachi. I was able to experience this tranquil feeling because of her, because I met her as a kid, because we were reunited here, because she agreed to date me. This unlikely moment came to pass. Thanks, Sachi. And the words still natural in my mouth, I'm answered by nothing but the sound of a carefree young woman sawing logs. Thought you weren't sleepy, punk. That didn't take long, considering... But then again, seeing Sachi like this, the way her lively excitement gave way to this abrupt nap. It's a keen, almost painful reminder of the tomboyish, unpredictable girl she used to be.
そこにいるの風見くんよね。
When I raise my head in response to the sensitive inquiry, I see Sakaki standing in the shade nearby, a paperback book in hand. It's going good. Yuuji is enjoying himself with Sachi so far. Hey there, Sakaki. Back from sharing your complaints regarding our profane world to a local crow?
人を魔女のように言わないでもらえるかしら。
Sorry, just a little joke.
機嫌がいいのは結構だけれど、そこで寝ているのは小峰さんよね。
Yeah, momentum from the shopping date ended up carrying us in a slightly weird direction. Decided to try out the lap pillow thing.
それは見ればわかるけど、これはとても珍しい光景ね。
Should he be embarrassed or something? I don't know. As soon as the words are out of Sakaki's mouth, she's leaning quietly forward, peering down at us with an expression of evident curiosity. Yes, the man being the pillow is pretty unusual after all, huh?
いや、そういう意味ではなくて、私は小峰さんが眠っているってことに驚いているのよ。
What's that supposed to mean?
私はこれまでに小峰さんが居眠りをしているところを見たことがなかったから。
Another unbroken streak of hers, is it?
ええ。と言っても、もちろん夜になれば自室のベッドで休んでいるのは知っているけれど、こうしてうたた寝をしている小峰さんを見るのは初めてね。
That a fact?
ええ。だから意外だったのよ。
Makes sense. Yet another sign of how strictly Sachi governs her own behavior. Yuji says that effect a lot. That effect?
それにしても気持ちよさそうな寝顔をしているわね。
Well, we did spend a good while wandering around the stores this afternoon. She was probably a little tired.
それくらいでは小峰さんは居眠りしないと思うわよ。
Then what did?
よほどあなたの膝の上が気持ちよかったんでしょうね。
You know it did. Sakaki smiles gently at her own joke. Very uncommon, both the smile and the fact that she made a joke in the first place. Oh, you interested? How about giving it a try yourself? Well, when I offer a little light teasing as payback, Sakaki's face instantly goes red. Of course, you'll have to get Sachi's permission first, but...
それは絶対にダメです。
That was cute. At the sudden angry shout from my lap, Sakaki scrambles a few feet backward, completely flustered.
もしかして起きていたの？
I wonder.
マグロマンはビームを使わずにその身を削るところがかっこいいですから。
No, she's pretty clearly not.
なら今のは寝言？
Yeah, it seems that way.
そう。やっぱり小峰さんには底知れない恐ろしさがあるわね。
You're reading way too much into this.
まあ、周防さんや松島さんも出かけているみたいだし、邪魔者はこれで消えるわね。
With those parting words delivered in an uncharacteristically tranquil tone, Sakaki turns away and quietly makes her way back to the dorm. I'm permitted to while away my time as a human pillow for the moment, but 2 days from now another Ichigai job is waiting for me. That was the way of life I chose, and I don't plan on trying to back out this late in the game. But surely no one could hold it against me if I enjoy this feeling a little longer, at least until she wakes up. Walls have ears, shoji have eyes is a long-standing proverb in this country. And in modern times, when minuscule spy cameras can be mounted on mosquitoes, it's truer than ever. Since such electronic bugs are significantly more credible and accurate than an ear against the door, you could say that advances of science have only worsened the ancient problem of information security. And it seems even this isolated community known as Mihama Academy is no exception to the general trend. Let down your guard for even a moment, and you'll suffer the consequences.
さっちゃんと付き合うって聞いただけでも驚いたのに、まさか膝枕とはね。
膝枕っていうと、最近買ったマグロマンの DVD についてきたあれのこと？
それは抱き枕。しかもあんたの言ってるのはカバーの方だから。
Amane heaves a small sigh, barely audible over the churning of the washing machine at her side. As it so happened, our little courtyard interlude yesterday was recorded by a camera Makina had set up in the courtyard as part of a surveillance mission targeting Machiro, rendering Sakaki's considerate discretion sadly meaningless. By this morning, the lap pillow incident was common knowledge throughout the dorm and beyond. Anyway, Sakaki, you decided on your request yet?
改まって聞かれるとすぐには。
Since I've now spent a day in servitude to both Amane and Michiru, the pair of them magnanimously decided that today would be Sakaki's turn. But if a genie popped up and told the girl, "You have 30 seconds to ask me for anything you desire," I'm pretty sure she'd dither the time away and end up empty-handed. I'm still on standby at the moment.
ユージが何でも言うことを聞くって言った時はマッサージとか言ってなかったっけ？
あの時はちょうど肩が凝っていたからそんなことも言ったけれど、今はそれほどでもないから。
おかしいなあ。私の調べでは昨日も夜の2時までパソコンを触ってたはずなのに。
あなたはどうしてそんなことまで知っているのよ。
さあ、どうしてでしょうね。
Has someone been using Sachi for late-night spying operations again? Well, I don't mind waiting for directions, but if you aren't going to ask for something, it seems a little pointless for me to be here. If you really can't think of anything, I'll get back to my own business.
それは。
ほらほら、ユージもこう言ってることだし、何でもいいから言っちゃいなさいよ。さ
わかったわよ。それなら洗濯でいいわ。
That all?
ええ、ちょうどランドリーにいるし、洗濯物は私が持ってくるから。
Alright, these washing machines make it easy as the press of a button, so there's no problem on my end.
それならよかったわ。
Arriving on the scene with an overflowing laundry basket in her hands, Michiru peeks over her mountain of dirty clothes with an expression of queer surprise.
なんでこんなところにみんなが揃ってるのよ。はっ、まさかあんたたち私の誕生日を内緒で祝う計画を立ててたんじゃないでしょうね。そんなことされたって私は全然嬉しくなんかないんだからね。あれ、私何か変なこと言った？
そうですね。変なことというよりは全くの見当外れと言いますか。
Well, that's life. Hang in there, kid.
また励まされた。
Deflating like a punctured inner tube, Michiru trudges sullenly on toward the washing machines.
でもいいの、榊さん。
何の話？
ユージに洗濯を任せちゃって。
本人も洗濯ならできると言っていたわよ。
そうじゃなくて、ユージ男の子だよ。
間違いなく女の子には見えないけれど、それがどうかした？
下着とか見られたり触られたりしちゃうと思うんだけど。
風見くん、やっぱりさっきの用事はなかったことにして。
Okay, fine. Okay, you're the client, so that's fine by me.
代わりの用事はちゃんと考えておくから。
I kind of want to brush her hair. think that would be fun. As soon as the words were out of her mouth, Sakaki hurries out of the laundry room and descends the stairs at a trot. Seems strangely flustered. Don't tell me she's still hanging on to a pair of lucky teddy bear pinkies.
そこまでは知らないけど、どんな下着でも意図せず見られて嬉しいものじゃないわよね、普通は。
Come to think of it, there was a time when I thoughtfully washed a pile of JB's dirty laundry without being asked. And although the woman usually walks around with her underwear half exposed, her reaction was an angry snarl to the effect of, "I'll do it myself." Seems pretty consistent with Amane's theory.
De, そろそろ本題に戻りたいんだけど、昨日のデートでさっちゃんとはどこまで行ったわけ？
Not far, just down to the station. Why?
こういうのはユージよりさっちゃんに聞いた方が早そうね。
Heard the same thing from JB yesterday. It seems I'm not particularly well equipped for this sort of conversation.
というわけで、どうなの？さっちゃん。
どこまでというのは恋愛の進行状況を聞かれていると思うのですが、恋人らしい行為というのは膝枕くらいだったと思います。
本当に？合間合間にキスとかしてないの？
はい、していません。
じゃあ当然エッチもまだってわけよね。
Look, woman.
エッチといえば金属加工の際に用いられたりする技術、エッチングのことでしょうか。
いや、私はそっちの方を知らなかったけど、こう男女の営み的な？
男女の営みというと性交、いわゆるセックスのことですね。
そっちん容赦ね。アマネーが珍しく投げてくれた変化球を剛速球で返してきたのよさ。
でもあまねさんが言っているのはセックスのことですよね。
まあそうなんだけどさ。
じゃああまねさんは私とゆうくんがセックスしたかを聞きたかったんですね。
いや、なんていうか。
それともここはあえて交尾と言い換えた方がいいでしょうか。
ごめん、私が悪かった。
Not bad, Sachi. Making Amane of all people bashful is a considerable achievement.
でもさっちゃん、今のうちに覚悟だけはしておいた方がいいわよ。
Nice.
覚悟ですか？
そう、膝枕なんかしちゃったら次はすぐエッチすることになっちゃうんだから。
つまり私はもうすぐ喪失する、そういうことですね。
もうだからなんでわざわざ言い換えるのよ、この子は。
アマネーが切れたのよさ。
Don't think I've ever seen her push this far before.
まあさっちゃんって我慢強そうだし、そういうのは案外平気そうだけど。
はい、痛みに耐えるシミュレーションなら何度か。
ああ、そうなんだ。まあ私は一応アドバイスしたからね。
はい、ありがとうございます、
天音さん。
It's definitely not a bad thing that our classmates care enough to express their concern, but given Sachi's tendency to interpret advice in oddly distorted ways, I'm a little worried Amane's well-intentioned words may create more problems than they solve. Looks about right. Confirming that cool air is once again flowing from the vent, I climb carefully down off the stepladder. After anguishing at great length about her request, Sakaki ended up mumbling, "Come to think of it, the air conditioning in the hallway hasn't been working too well lately," and sending me off on a chore largely irrelevant to her own self. I think. And so, after borrowing some basic tools from her closet, I performed some simple maintenance on the overhead AC unit, cleaning out the ducts and replacing the machine's filter. Even as she holds the ladder steady, Sachi's gazing up at me with something like wonder in her eyes. Okay, what's on your mind this time?
いえ、ゆうくんは庭園管理士の資格だけでなく電気工事士の資格まで持っていたんですね。
Not qualified or certified in either of those fields, actually.
でもエアコンはちゃんと動いています。
Yeah, when AC units break down, 9 times out of 10, it's because dust and grime has accumulated inside the machine over the years. Even without any specialized technical knowledge, it's possible to perform some basic repairs. And in the first place, the title of electrician means you're licensed to wire buildings and such. That's a completely different can of worms.
だとしたらゆうくんはすごいです。もし私が頼まれていたら業者さんに修理を依頼するしかありませんでしたから。
Well, I personally went this route because I know a little about air conditioners, but if you're looking for the most reliable method of ensuring the request gets fulfilled, your judgment is probably the better one.
そうでしょうか。
Yeah. The hands-on approach is only feasible when you happen to know how to solve a specific problem after all.
それなら私ももっと勉強した方がいいかもしれませんね。
Maybe so. I'm not telling you to glue yourself to your desk even more than you already do, but it can't hurt to expand your breadth of knowledge.
なるほどです。ところでゆうくん、
Yeah?
ゆうくんは私とセックスしたくなったりしないんでしょうか。
That didn't take long. Look, Sachi, this is just like the thing with JB yesterday. Why are you so worried about what other people say about us?
ですが某所の調べでは私たちくらいの年代の実に 43% がすでに性交渉を済ませているというデータも出ています。
I'm guessing these statistics come from another magazine you found in the convenience store rack.
なぜか見破られてしまいました。
Just a little statistical analysis of my own. My data indicates 99% of your data is that sort of crap.
もちろんゆうくんの頭の中でいくら私が凌辱されても構わないのですが、 通の恋人同士がすることなら私たちもしてみた方がいいのではないかと思いまして。
Does that mean you want to try having sex, Sachi?
いえ、あくまでもゆうくんがしたいとおっしゃられるのであればです。
So even when it comes to something this serious, she relinquishes any role in the actual decision. So she wants me to decide. Let me ask you something first. Would you really be alright having me as your first partner?
むしろ相手がゆうくんなら嬉しいくらいです。
You serious about that?
はい、小峰幸、いつでも本気です。
Is that supposed to be your brand slogan?
すみません、出過ぎたことを言ってしまったでしょうか。
No, wouldn't say that, but there's no doubt in my mind that Sachi's proposing this because of her belief that a good girl hews closely to the conventional way of doing things. In other words, her own will played virtually no role in this proposal. Of course, I'm not suggesting that adapting to the societal mainstream is a bad thing, and I'm sure as heck not planning to play some sort of holy martyr who abstains from physical relationships. But right now, Sachi's still missing an important part of herself. For that reason, I've started this relationship off on a distinctly platonic note. Now that Sachi herself is approaching me, the question is whether or not I should allow things to move beyond that stage. Ordinarily, the answer would be a flat no. But precisely because Sachi's wrapped herself inside this shell, I need to introduce changes into her life. This offer represents a clear opportunity on that front, but that said, just do it. Mind if I double check this one last time?
はい、どうぞ。
You don't find the idea of doing this with me unpleasant?
はい、嫌だとも思いませんし、相手がゆうくんなら安心できます。
I see. There's no guarantee the feelings Sachi expresses to me are real. If Sachi is convinced herself that a good girlfriend loves her boyfriend, she might very well override her own emotions to bring herself into alignment with that image. True, I'll never get anywhere if I get too caught up in this kind of doubt, but this is a serious enough step to warrant some caution. At the very least, I think Sachi's sincere in saying she doesn't find the idea outright unpleasant. In other words, we've met the absolute minimum condition for me to put my hands on her. Alright, since you're obviously up for it, Sachi, let's move this relationship to the next step.
はい、よろしくお願いします。
You do it when you're ready to do it. If you are ready right away, then you can do it right away. There's not really a problem with that, but as long as you're ready. About 20 minutes after we headed to my room, Sachi emerges from the bathroom, her shower finally complete. Her mere presence fills the room with the fresh smell of soap. It's the sort of thing that gets a man's blood flowing.
ゆうくんに言われた通り、体をきれいにしてきました。
Take your time in there. Sure, you did a thorough job though. Might end up having some places you've never gotten a good look at yourself inspected.
はい、髪の毛から足の指先までバッチリきれいにしてきました。
But you're still wearing the maid uniform, I see.
はい。男の人はエッチの際に服を脱がせる行為にも興奮すると聞いたことがあるので、気を利かせてみました。
They do say girls tend to collect lots of dubious secondhand knowledge about this sort of thing. Guess it'd probably be best not to bother asking about her source for this information.
それで、この後はどうしたらいいでしょうか。
Her face betraying a hint of nervousness, Sachi looks up into my eyes. I'd like to believe that slight pink flush in her cheeks isn't just a lingering effect of her shower. Let's see. According to standard theory, we begin with whispering loving words and embracing each other, but today we're going to omit that step.
それは昨今の不景気が原因なのでしょうか。
No, it's just that fast, cheap, and satisfying is my personal motto.
なるほど。ゆうくんは牛丼屋さんのようなキャッチコピーを売りにしているんですね。
Naturally, this motto is a load of crap, but I want to put the kisses and affectionate words on hold until Sachi's managed to regain a normal emotional state. Might think it a little hypocritical for me to be so conscientious on that point when we're about to do something more extreme. But I have my own way of thinking about the things that bind people together, and the way I see it, some things matter more than physical intimacy. I'm gazing at the scenery outside my window when Sachi walks up to my side, evidently finished with her second shower of the day.
今日は本当にすみません。私に経験がないばかりに気を使わせてしまって。
You've got nothing to apologize for. Getting impatient and rushing ahead rarely ends well, especially with this sort of thing. That doesn't seem quite enough to convince Sachi this time. She looks up at me, her big round eyes tinged with uncertainty. Don't worry about it, Sachi. Just take it easy for today, alright?
はい、わかりました。
I give Sachi a quick pat on the head and offer a few reassuring words. Without any further objections, she nods and leaves my room. Girl's got sharp instincts, not easy to lie to her. As Sachi seems to have vaguely sensed, my real reason for stopping halfway through was something else entirely. The truth is, the idea of going all the way like that just felt wrong. It's still not entirely clear to me why my conscience suddenly kicked into overdrive, but when I touched her intimately for the first time, something about my way of thinking changed. I'll have to wrap it up with that for now. I guess that hesitation may have ended up giving her something else to be anxious about, not really what I was trying to accomplish here. But today, some part of me thought, this girl deserves to be treasured, and I don't think I was wrong.
それじゃあしばらくユージを借りていくわね。